Hi everyone, today, we're going to take a look at the 5 best macro lenses for Sony on the market for this year. First, we're going to show you our 5 best picks, then we'll talk about what you should look for before buying a best macro lenses for Sony. You can find timestamps and links to all the products we mention in this video down in the description below. Let's get started. When it comes to shooting great macro photos, there are several key components that ensure your finished product looks good. One of these is your lens. A good macro lens will help get you good macro shots. In today's video, we look at the best macro lenses for Sony cameras. Whether you're a budget macro photographer or one of the pros, you're bound to find something that perfectly fits the bill for you. Are you passionate about the small world? Macro subjects are everywhere, and getting unusually close to these small subjects can be beautiful and fascinating. You can take pictures of this tiny world with an ordinary camera lens, but if you want to get as close as possible to various subjects, a macro-specific lens will come in handy. So, to continue our series of articles on lenses for Sony mirrorless cameras, today I'm trying to guide you through the best Sony E-mount macro lenses. Because if your current lens doesn't focus accurately enough to magnify a subject in the sensor, then a specialized macro lens will allow you to focus on a wider variety of subjects with a different and very precise design. Here is our list of the best macro lenses for Sony. Number 5. Sigma 260,965 105mm f2.8 macro lens. The Sigma 105mm f2.8 macro, Sony's longest focal length for now, is a very nice lens that will not disappoint. It has a solid construction, resistant to dust and humidity, as well as an autofocus, but it lacks image stabilization and focus distance indication, which will be observed directly on the screen. All this for a weight, 715 grams, and a size, 13.4 centimeters, fairly well controlled. There is a diaphragm ring and several shortcuts around the edge of this fixed focal length. The Sigma 105mm is a 1:1 lens with a minimum focusing distance of 29.5 centimeters. Thanks to its 9 apertures blades and focusing distance, we get a beautiful bokeh and the subject is easily highlighted. Some reviews indicate that the autofocus of this prime lens could be a little faster. The optical quality is excellent from full aperture and up to f/5.6, while the optical defects are well handled. Despite an imperfect autofocus, it is hard to ignore the superb quality of this 105mm f2.8 DGDN macro art, which even has some advantages over the Sony 90mm. On one hand, it's a little more affordable while delivering better image quality, and on the other, its extra 15mm reach gets you even closer to your subjects. In my opinion, it is just the most versatile and best quality lens for macro photography you can find today. Number 4. Sony SEL90M28G 90mm f2.8-22 macro lens. The Sony FE90mm f2.8 macro GOS lens is one of the best lenses ever made by the brand. With a dust and moisture resistant construction and its 13 cm length for a weight slightly exceeding 600 grams, this 90mm is quite impressive. A manual focus system is available by pulling the focus ring, which is comfortable, smooth, and accurate. The autofocus is of an exemplary speed. This lens also has built-in optical stabilization, which makes it easy to get very sharp images at slower shutter speeds. The reproduction ratio is classic, at 1:1, and the focus will be made at 28 cm from the subject. The 9 apertures blade produces a very soft and pleasant bokeh. The image quality is impressive, with a lot of details from the center to the edges, and this from f2.8 to f16. Chromatic aberrations are very well controlled. There is a slight vignetting at the largest apertures and a very slight distortion. It's hard not to recommend this beautiful Sony 90mm, both for the image quality and for all the options offered, not to mention the fast autofocus. In short, you can't really be disappointed with this choice, but obviously, capturing images with this lens comes at a price. Specifications. Mount. Sony E. Max. Aperture. f f2.8. Focus. Auto. Focal length. 90 mm. Number 3. Sony SEL30M 3530mm f. 3.5 macro lens. Small macro lenses are cheaper whilst still being effective in producing the desired result. That is one-to-one magnification or life-size reproduction of the subject being photographed. Being cheap, they are also the primary target for new macro photographers looking for an entry-level lens. But the biggest problem of these small focal length lenses is that the minimum focusing distance is small. For the Sony E30mm f. 3.5, that would be 3.74 inches. Also, the minimum working distance is 0.9 inch. And that means you have to get very close to your subject in order to make a good image. Doing that means you are likely to block the light. We recommend getting a small ring light or a continuous light that can help you to light the subject and get a proper exposure when you are shooting. The E30mm f. 3.5 macro lens is designed for the smaller crop camera systems of Sony. The lens's image circle will cover the smaller area of a crop sensor only. This is a lightweight, less complicated design consisting of only 7 elements arranged in 6 groups. The design includes 1 edge element and 3 aspherical elements. Together, they produce a sharp and contrasty image. The fact that it is lightweight also goes in its favor. The lens is easy to handle and shoot for considerable amounts of time without any issues. Lens not zoomable, exceptionally portable and versatile for everyday use. Number 2. Sigma 271,965 70mm f2.8 macro lens. While third-party equipment used to be more hit and miss, these days third-party lenses are a great way to get a high-quality lens at a lower price point. The Sigma 70mm f. 2.8 DG macro art is a good choice to go for if you're looking for a third-party steal. The fast wide aperture of f2.8 gives you great subject separation from the background. The quality of background blur, also known as bokeh, depends on many things. One of them is the number of aperture diaphragm blades there are in the lens. And this lens has a total of 9 aperture diaphragm blades. As a true macro lens, you will be able to produce a life-size rendition of anything you choose to shoot from a close focusing distance. Several elements have been used in the construction of the lens to ensure the quality of images produced. 2 FLD elements, 2 SLD elements, 2 aspherical elements, and 1 anomalous partial dispersion element which ensure that light transmission across different wavelengths are in unison and the final images are sharp and contrasty. Additionally, the lens has also been treated with a super multi-layer coating for additional true color rendition and sharper results overall. Features. Design prioritizing optical performance focus by wire system for comfortable and precise focusing compatible with full-frame Sony E-mount cameras compatible with Canon lens aberration correction. Number 1. Sony SEL50M28 FE 50mm f2.8 macro lens. Sony's FE mount lenses are designed for the full-frame mirrorless camera systems like the A7R III or the A7S II. The major selling point of this lens is the 1-to-1 magnification ratio that it offers at a minimum focusing distance of 6.3. Among the many advantages of the lens is a printed distance and magnification scale indicator. You also have a focus range limiter. The last of the 3 allows you to set the focusing range so that the lens does not unnecessarily hunt for focus across a large range. Finally, as an outdoor photographer doing macro photography, you want to have that extra protection of weather sealing. The FE 50mm f. 2.8 macro comes with weather sealing. With a weather-sealed body, you will be prepared to go outdoors and shoot in inclement weather. Full-frame 50mm macro lens and wide f2.8 max. Aperture. This high-performance 50mm macro prime lens is the ideal focal length for most photographers from close-up macro shots to landscapes and portraits. The bright f2.8 maximum aperture delivers excellent low-light performance and control over depth of field for beautiful defocused backgrounds. Made for macro and close focus. Get up close for macro and interesting shots with 6.25 inches, 0.16 meters, minimum focusing distance and a 1:1 magnification.